Hey, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't seen the box opening, check that out, please. Link in the description. Let's jump in. You spend a lot of time working up the lower hull and running gear, but it all went together beautifully. This kit is really a joy to build. The indexing is different, but the upper side is identical. You do this for both sides. With the wheels and the side skirts on, you see none of this in the finished model. The fit is fantastic, and the cleanup was quick. This is a full interior kit, and you start with the power pack. This is the sequence I built this up in. Then the gearbox. Unfortunately, they don't mold any of the panels that can be opened over the engine bay. I don't show me gluing every piece together, it'd be too long. Excellent detail there. And for the life of me, I can't remember what I was trying to show you here. I'll put some oils on this. Over the satin black, I added flat aluminum and dark yellow. Flat aluminum. That stays satin black. That's a dark gray, and those are aluminum. Then you start to prepare the inner hull. This piece was unique in that it didn't really index well, it just slid around. I got this in, and this is how you orient the pipe. The interior got a coat of Mr. Surfacer Gray. As if by magic. I did a little bit of appreciating. It wasn't thinned enough, though. I painted the hoses, and I applied a good coat of the steel pigment to the surfaces. Little detail painting for the driver's position. I apologize, I lost a little video. Basically, I just repeated the steps you just saw. I painted and built until here for adding to the hull. Browns and blacks as specified in the instructions. To me, a pure red where you see it. It all fell together, no issues. You saw this painted earlier with the previous steps. It's coming along nice. These are the ammo boxes. You just have to put the ends on and paint them up. I weathered like before. And they stack like this. Now we move to the wheels, idlers, and sprockets. Another reason I'm mainly just showing progress is because it goes together intuitively. You make 12 of these. They give you the option to make the spring version, but don't include it in the instructions. You just CA glue the ends in. I should have blackened those first, but you can't see them anyways. Just follow the instructions step by step, and they build up nice. 4 of the bogies get these dampers, 2 do not. I struggled a little with those. It got a little greasy. I'm at the stage where I needed to put the running gear and tracks on before moving further. I masked it up and began to apply the AK Real IDF Modern Gray, which is quite brown. I applied it light enough so I could get good shadows and darks in there. I'll clean up the overspray with panel liner. I'll also put the wheels on so the better side is down visible. Let's dirty them up a bit with AK Dirt Dust Deposit, which I thin 50-50 with mineral spirits. I'd rather build it up than go heavy horse all at once. You can see here, it's not as heavy as it looks wet. I wanted to end up with a tank that looks dusty and sandy, very deserty. Everyone's favorite part, individual track links. With a flat blade, you can quickly cut those clean. Border really needs to include a jig. The issue is, the tracks don't lie flat when you join them, they're slightly slanted. So you can't scrunch up a few at a time on a flat surface tight enough for the pins to go in like that. I had to assemble them one by one. I made 2 long flat runs, 2 shorter flat runs, and glued the rest around the idler and sprocket. I ended up with a little gap, probably because I didn't make it as tight around as I should have. That little bit on the left rounds out when I left it on the mat for a while. I did a little more weathering on these bits here. Now I can start to build up the rest of the superstructure. The instructions tell you to make some holes. I used a lighter to anneal the PE parts. I formed them and then attached them with VMS Flexi 5K for PE. I put this on, then that. Very straightforward, no issue. I'm ready now to prime. I hit everything with steel pigment for completion. I taped that in strips, came off at the end like a treat. Great fit. Now for pieces that span the upper and lower halves. As referenced earlier, you can't put the tracks and wheels on at the end. The hull is pretty much done. Now for the turret. Just take your time, work your way around it, it all fits in great. This was the step I was most worried about. The barrel seam. It actually cleaned up really nice. I let the extra thin fill the seam, starting at the muzzle and then the breech. I primed it to see how bad the seam was, then used Mr. Dissolve putty. Here it is after putty, sanding, priming, etc. I'm happy with that. I got this stuff built up and ready to paint cream white. Built up and primed. I'm going to keep the 2 crew hatches accessible, but seal up the rest. You can always take the turret off to look inside. There's so much going on, but it all goes on just fine. And that's that for now. Let's get that primed before moving on. I got some detail painting done in there. Steel pigment. Then I built up the turret innards like so. Fit-wise, this was where I struggled the most with those turret skirts. This wraps up all the sub-assemblies, built and primed. Using the AK IDF gray, I'll black base it first. I realized I hadn't put the hitch in the upper door. You can see how dark and brown the base color is. I added 10% of RLM gray to make it lighter and a slight green hue. Then I added 10% sky gray to that. I added 10% more sky gray. I added even more sky gray, and we'll go around and hit all the raised detail. I'm now done with the modulation. Applying a rubber black to the skirts and fenders. I used VMS decal set here, then their decal softener. I'll begin weathering with Tamiya panel liner, cut 50% with VMS Universal Carrier. Re-blackened the exhaust port and grates on the hull. I added some MIG rain effect to give the black some modulation. It wasn't till then I realized there's a white stripe on the barrel. I ran 2 strips of tape and used a knife to tighten the fit. I didn't want it to look perfect, but a little worn. Once I apply more washes and filters, it ends up looking fine. It was time to add this. I took the eye hooks that came in the kit and added my own cable. It's this 1mm ammo stuff I got on Amazon. It fit perfect. I then blackened it. Just 2 minutes in there was enough. After wiping off excess, you can always put it in for more. This goes on the back of the turret. I wanted to put some stowage on, and had these sitting for years in a box. I used different shades of green. I chose poorly on the brown one. Now for an acrylic wash. Again, I wanted to give it a sandy desert look. I'm making a 10% wash with Model Master Sand Armor and adding a smidgen of Abteilung Desert Sand pigment. It's very important to wet the whole surface first with water. Then add the wash all over. It'll pool and collect where it naturally would on the tank. If it's too much, an old dry brush and some alcohol will tone it down. It's a nice effect. Then I hit all the surfaces with dark steel pigment. This also tones down the wash. Last thing I did was add the clear pieces. I lost the lens, so I just used some clear UV resin. I'm pretty happy with this. This is going to be a gift for a good friend of mine. I'm going to put it in a display box and send it. The antennae are not glued in for shipping. After doing 2 and just opening my 3rd, I can highly recommend Border. Stay tuned for some glamour shots at the end. Thank you so much for watching. Be well and happy modeling!